Entrepreneurship is hard, so let's fix that and dive into our heroes' journeys. This is Taking Flight, an entrepreneur's journey, and I'm Sarah Torville. Join me as we delve deep into the passions, expertise, and experiences of those already in flight. This show is sponsored by EO Atlanta. Welcome to EO Atlanta Taking Flight podcast. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, and it's going to be beautiful and sunny in this podcast today because the guest that we have joining us definitely lightens up the room, and I cannot wait to hear his story and for him to tell it to you all. So the person we have joining is the founder of Sentry IT. He is a cybersecurity and digital transformation expert, an author and speaker, and we're going to hopefully hear about the 2 books he's written, and he's working on his 3rd, which I find incredible. He's the master of execution, and I love this about him. He's known for getting it done mentally and delivering results where others fail. And then he's a passionate mentor and volunteer at Atlanta CASA. So Marlon Grigsby, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Sarah. I'm glad to be here.
I cannot wait to hear your story, Marlon. I've been really keen to have you join us today. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
So let's get started out of the gate. I want you to kind of share with us. So what do you think you get right? Or what did you get right when you took your first entrepreneurial flight?
Great question, Sarah. Thank you. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I call myself a wannabe-neur, right? From high school, from selling candy throughout the school, college, I started my own web design company where I was doing websites for Greek organizations on campus. Even when I started my career in tech, I was doing IT support, like help desk type roles, but I never just had one stream of income. I always had some sort of side hustle. Through my 20 years of professional IT career, I've had like a web design and marketing company. I was a travel agent, or wannabe travel agent, if you would. I sold custom suits at a certain time while I was doing my IT job. I did real estate flipping, became something I'm very passionate about, which is life and clarity coaching. So I've always had some sort of side hustle over the past 20 years. And I was really like, during this time, I had this entrepreneurial bug. I really didn't know what to do with it or how to use it. And so over like a course of like 2 decades, I was just a sponge and a student of business, entrepreneurship, and personal development. Mm-hmm. And what I got right, to answer your question specifically, was mindset shift. So when I started Sentry IT, I went in saying this is not going to be my next side hustle, but this is going to be a real business, my real way out of corporate America. And the second thing I did right when I was starting my business was leveraging my network to being my first clients, to tapping into people who were smarter than me in specific areas, so that could help me build and grow with strategic relationships and just business as a whole, because I really didn't know how to do it full time, right? So I tapped into my network for that.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. You talk about mind shift. Just want you to kind of expand on that a little bit. So, is it because I've heard other entrepreneurs say the same, like when you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this happen. It's like you throw a gauntlet down. It's like, this is how it's going to be. So just talk to me a little bit about what you mean by that compared to like, what if you don't have that mind perspective? Do you think we kind of move into it and it's maybe we're not quite as secure in ourselves that we're going to make this work? I don't know. I'm curious to understand that more.
Yeah, well, a lot of it for me was imposter syndrome, right? Like, well, I'm an IT guy. What business do I have doing this or starting my own business? I've always worked for somebody else. And when I would do my kind of side hustles, it was about having an extra stream of income. It was about just adding more money into my pocket. It didn't have a bigger purpose. It didn't have I couldn't see that far down in the future. It was an immediate want or need, right? And when I changed my mind shift and I'm saying I'm going to grow slower, but I'm going to grow the right way. That's the mind shift thinking that changed for me.
That's excellent. I love that. Okay. And you're right, connections are so important, and leveraging them sounds like that has been really great for you. Um, so that's wonderful. So, like, do you when it comes to connections, I wouldn't mind again breaking that down a bit as well. So, do you feel like you are able to reach out to people who were customers or clients at your last company, or are you talking more about your ecosystem and putting the right people around you?
My ecosystem, putting the right people around me,
Okay.
more so from just leveraging my network, my LinkedIn network, my friends, my family, uh, and really leveraging those relationships so I can, you know, maximize what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go, and really sharing with them what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to
Right.
go. Because a lot of times when I used to operate kind of in silence, nobody was there to keep me accountable. And so if it didn't work, or if I failed, it's no big deal because nobody in my
Hmm.
ecosystem really
Hmm.
knew about it. But now when you put
Yeah.
it all out there, all right, I'm in, and
Yeah.
I need your help
True.
and support because we all need that whole ecosystem, our tribe of people around us, right?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So has there been a kind of an individual or a group of people who've been with you throughout this journey? And we're talking about a 20-year entrepreneurial journey. I know you sound like a bit like myself. I did so many things before I then really went focused. But even with Sentry IT, has there been someone there along the way? Like, who is that co-pilot for you?
Yeah, great question. And so as I mentioned before, the mind shift difference that I had when I started Century IT, and one of those differences is I can't do this alone. So one of
Hmm.
the things that I wanted to do was not operate in silence, and was to actually, I proactively, after I started my business, I wanted to do this one differently. And as I laid the foundation, I started getting customers and clients. I said, you know what? It's missing something. And that something is not something that I can provide. It's something that I need. So I looked for a business partner, somebody that could strategically align with my strengths, and we could kind of go in this together. And what I did was really thought back throughout my career, my 20 plus years IT experience. And I was like, who was it that I got a lot of work done with, but we also had fun doing it? And
Hmm.
it came back to this one person who was a CIO of mine that I worked for, and he mentored me during our time together working in corporate America to be a CIO, to become a CIO one day, right? And so he was kind of my mentor, and we've kept a relationship for 20 plus years, both personally and professionally. And I wanted to approach him about partnering with me, becoming a business partner, being a board advisor. I really didn't know. Funny story is, he's well known, and I took him out for lunch one day, and we're having lunch, and I'm pitching him 15 minutes sales pitch of what I'm doing with Century IT, who I'm working with, and what I've been able to accomplish thus far. And I said, hey, just want to know if you could be a part of this journey with me in some capacity. And so I go through this long sales pitch, and he was like, Marlon, you had me at hello. Of course I will help you. Of course I will be a part of this journey with you. And from that day on, we just kind of rolled up our sleeves and started working together. And it's been a beautiful relationship. So that's kind of my co-pilot, if you will,
Yeah.
my entrepreneurship journey. It was
I
very
love.
strategic, right? Because he
Mhm.
has experience. I'm purely tech, never been in sales, never really been in
Right.
consulting. He had that experience that I didn't have. So merged with
Mhm.
my technical experience, it just makes for a beautiful relationship
Yeah.
and partnership.
Yeah. You complement each other. But you
Yeah,
also used a good word, which is you said, I was thinking about who do I have fun with? And I think that's actually a really interesting point. And if you don't mind, I might just share because I mean, I've had business partners which have been less fun than my business partner I have now, Dave McMullen, who many of our EO Atlanta entrepreneurs know. But I think fun matters. Like you do want to be able to go to work each day and enjoy it. And it doesn't mean you're being. We're not talking silly fun, are we? We're talking like fun. Like it's a journey. Like enjoy it together. I think it's really important to have that personally.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
outside of sleeping, you spend the most time with those you work with, right? Even more
Yeah.
so than your spouses and your family. Like, So
Yeah,
it's very
no,
important that
100%.
you can get a lot done and then have fun at the same time while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that's what, especially when you love, if you love what you do, and you said, you've got people around you to have fun with, I feel like those are ingredients for a successful business. They really are. Like, you take one of them away, and you say, let's, like, you're not having fun, or you don't have a passion for what you do, then, I think it just limps along a little bit more. So
Yes.
I think those are really, really important. So, that's great. And I'm glad you have such a strong co-pilot. He sounds an incredible. What's this person's name? Can you share his
Uh,
name?
yeah, John Albers is his name.
John Alberts. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to John then. Shout out to John when he's listening. So, tell me a little bit about any challenges you've been working on recently, Marlon, that you might be able to kind of shed some light, some inspiration for anyone working on any similar challenges right now, and how you've overcome that challenge.
Yeah, I would say one biggest challenge that I'm facing right now is how do I scale and maintain
Hmm.
quality and efficiency in my business?
Hmm.
Relatively speaking, from my past businesses, this one has scaled very fast. So from staffing standpoint and personnel and team members, like, we were always behind the ball when it comes to building out the team because we grew
Right.
and then we didn't have the staff to meet the demand. So we would hire fast, and then they didn't have our level of, I'm not going to say expertise. They had the expertise, but they didn't have
Yeah.
our level of um, just the way we do things. Like, we
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
value and we care for our customers, and
Hmm.
that's something that is very important and part of our DNA. And they didn't have the Century way of doing things. And when you're hiring
Right.
people really fast, it's hard to kind of make that transition when you're just onboarding somebody really quick. So
Hmm.
we kind of found ourselves in the chicken or egg scenario because at a certain point, another situation in our business where we did staff up and kind of build our way and our culture of doing things and passing value on to our customers. But then we didn't have the demand, the customers, the projects to be able to support that. So that's when I kind of say that the chicken or the egg scenario, which one
Hmm.
comes first? And so us overcompensating, when we onboarding people, too many people to instead of doing that, now we have thoughtful inspection of when we're about to bring somebody on. We want to have a relationship with that person. We want to know them both personally and professionally. We want to have, same way we have um, a lead generation, we want to do the same thing with our team members. We want to nurture that relationship before we actually make an offer to somebody, because it is a relationship. Again, like we just said, we spend more time with these people sometimes than we do with our whole family. And the thing
Hmm.
that we want to get across to those that join our team is the standard is the standard. This is the Century IT standard, and we have to make sure that they are able to live up to that standard, and that we hire and retain only A players. And so we had
Yeah.
to actually do a pivot in our business a little bit because we wanted to be the solution for everything IT, right? But it really didn't work with this model of staffing up in such a
Right.
quick manner and then slowing the process down. So we kind of had to pick our focus areas. And I know we haven't talked about this much, but it's really CIO advisory. We really specialize in digital transformation, cybersecurity, and IT procurement. So
Yeah.
everything else outside of that, we had to go out and find strategic partnerships to help
Right.
us fulfill those services with our partner alliance, so
Hmm.
we can scale up when our customer needs us to. But we don't have
Hmm.
to handle that. We can still stay very lean to the core principles and the core team members that we have on our side. So
Yeah.
now we just hire very slowly, and I'm proud to say we really do retain only A players, and they start off with
Hmm.
A players. Like, we don't have to build anybody up because we slow down the process. We make sure that they're A players coming in, and then
Hmm.
we nurture the team members and make sure that we can retain that staffing level.
Right. That's something really great learning there. A couple of things I want to point out, and I've heard that before, and I think I'm sure many of us can say we haven't done it that way. I think many of us have done hire quickly and fire slowly, when it should be hire
The
slowly, fire fast. And we
yes.
know how detrimental that can be when you don't fire fast. But then I understand, and I love that you're, like you say, you want to like wrap your arms around these clients and give them the best attention. How do you do that if you're trying to offer too many things? So a partner model sounds smart, and it allows you to really focus on what I'm assuming you're really good at and what you really care about at Sentry IT.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right. And how's that going?
It's going great. I
That
mean,
model.
we
Good.
have a small team, but we're lean, we're nimble. So we come in and to our customers and we'll beat out the competition, these big IT consulting firms, because we're more flexible, we're more nimble, and
Yeah.
we're specialized in these
Mhm.
specific areas. And usually we don't come with such a high price tag as well. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win.
Yeah. That's really good. It's funny as well because sorry, you're just making me think about so many things as you're talking. Because I feel like I don't know what your feeling is here. I'd love to get your perspective, but it's like there used to be a time when I was very proud when I had X number of people, like, oh yeah, we're at 25 people, etc. But the reality is, if those 25 people are not following the values of the agency, it doesn't really matter whether you have 25 or if you have like even like 8, 10 really strong people. Like the number of employees doesn't mean how successful you are as a business. It's
Correct.
like, and I think sometimes it's very easy, isn't it, to get caught up and it's like, oh yeah, we're growing, we've got more people. But yeah, you know what? If you're not growing at a rate where you're able to retain your clients and deliver a good service, that will impact the top line and bottom line anyway. So, um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
had to change my
So,
point of view. I don't look at team members now as the signs of that we're growing or we're larger. I looked at
yeah,
the impact that we can have in our customers and the organizations that we serve. So I look at the
yeah,
impact that we have directly to our customers, and that's how I measure our success and our ability to grow and scale.
yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you to our strategic alliance partners for their support to our EO Atlanta community. Check these partners out as they can help you soar further into your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you to Chase, Belay, Trainial, EOS and Sperity, American Express, CEO Coaching International, Ashford Advisors, Clifton Larson Allen, and Homwick Berg. So what excites you about your future? Like, what does the future of flight look like for Marlon?
Oh man. So I have
Big
so many
question.
hopes, dreams, and desires, and really wherever it can take me. But I think first would be like just scaling Century IT to become like the number one go-to IT partner for mid-size and enterprise companies in the Southeast. Like that is a dream. That's what I'm really aiming for. And outside of Century IT, I still have the desire to be like a serial entrepreneur and having multiple
Mhm,
streams of income. So I have
mhm,
multiple SaaS business ideas that I'm working on building out on various platforms, all to help serve executives and entrepreneurs, because that's really my passion and what I really
mhm,
enjoy doing outside of IT. So I'm really
mhm.
about bringing innovation to market that would just probably involve several brands. So I'm excited about that, as well as
Mhm.
just expanding my personal brand. Right now, I see myself as the best kept secret when it comes to my experience and skill set, serving CIOs and CISOs. But I want to begin to market myself not just
Mhm.
as a CIO secret weapon, which is what I like to call myself, but as a tech
Right.
strategist. And I write different IT related books. I want to speak on IT topics and be a thought leader in the space. I want to begin
Mhm.
to start talking to boards of directors and teaching
Mhm.
them on the importance of cybersecurity and how they, although they may not be IT focused, no matter what they are, they're governing a board of directors. So how can they, in their role, better protect the organizations that they're serving? And I want to
Mhm.
leverage AI more for personal productivity, and I want to be able to teach that to people. Again, kind of going back to helping executives and entrepreneurs, which is really my
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, I don't know how you do it all. I know you've written 2 books, and those books have been, my understanding, is more kind of leadership-based books, and now you're
Yeah.
actually what? Do you want to talk about the third book you're working on right now?
Yeah, actually, it is actually called the Tech Strategist, and it's really for CIOs and those in IT leadership. How do they find this balance to lead their organization in a way that's just not technical? And how do you deal with people who are just technical? And so I go through the whole gamut of really my experiences of being a CIO myself and the things that I've learned. And as I go into different organizations currently as a consultant, I bring up situations and experiences that others leaders have shared with me and that we've worked through, and I go through those scenarios for them, all to help them optimize and leverage their team better, and ultimately just be a better leader, especially with so many different technologies like cybersecurity issues coming at them 10x than it was, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. AI is now on the scene, and how do they best use AI within their organization for productivity, and how they put proper guardrails around it. So the whole gamut of IT leadership, really just to help CIOs maximize their leadership and their role in that position to make future proof their careers as well. Is
Right.
really geared towards that.
I imagine, Marlon, you're a little bit of a unicorn, aren't you? Because you're someone who has got IT skills, yet if you don't mind me saying, you articulate yourself extremely well, and I know you care about leadership and thoughtfulness and all those kind of things. So like I don't know if this feels like this could be really, really dynamic to have someone who can speak to people who are a bit more maybe engineering, math minded, but actually also give them some of those soft skills too, as well as educating on what's coming down the road. It feels like a really nice package of good stuff.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's one of the things that I learned as a young age, like the soft skills of IT leadership
Mhm.
and management,
Yeah,
right? So you can teach anybody the hard skills, the technical skills, but it's the soft
yeah,
skills that really go a long way. And you just really can't teach that to a technical person. It's kind of like you either have it or you
yeah.
don't. And I am blessed where I got that as an early age, and it
Mhm.
has been uh, at the core of who I am as I have grown up in corporate America and now as a business owner.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. That's amazing. I love it. So, present day, like, so yeah, I know you talk very passionately about what you bring to your clients, but for those of us maybe who aren't even in IT or understand it so much, can you kind of break it down? Like, what problem do you think you really solve for your clients, and what impact do you believe you have made?
Yeah. One of my values or one of my purposes in life is to
Mhm.
really make seemingly complex things simple. That's just
Right,
what I'm naturally wired to do. So, and that's what I do for CIOs that I serve. I serve in such a way to make seemingly complex IT things simple. And,
hmm,
and one of those ways I aid them is making digital transformation or modernization initiatives simple for them. So when you think about digital transformation, you may have seen it, but really, what is that really all about? A lot of
yeah,
organizations have legacy hardware, legacy software, and they want to do cool things with their data, like embrace AI. But guess what? If garbage into AI, garbage out of AI, right?
yeah,
Or they want to protect their enterprise, but they really don't know how to do it because they've got legacy equipment. They got equipment not talking to one another. And so I kind of come in and help them modernize their infrastructure stack as well as their application portfolios, and then clean up their data. One, this
right,
helps from a cybersecurity standpoint because you put
mhm,
everything all together. Um, a lot of time organizations are paying for software that they haven't been using for years. Nobody has ownership of it. Sometimes we have a department over here using one application and a department over here using a similar type of application, but they're not doing the same thing. So in the IT world, there's this thing called technical debt. So a lot of organizations are paying for support and maintenance and hosting
right,
for applications that are no longer needed. So we
hmm,
develop a pathway, a blueprint, a roadmap for them to modernize their infrastructure and their application portfolio to really help them move. If they're moving everything to the cloud, now they can do that. If they
Right.
want to embrace AI more, so they can now do that, where they couldn't do that before with a lot of this legacy
Legacy. Yeah.
equipment and
Mhm,
applications out there. Yeah,
mhm. Wow. Okay. So you're able to make these like because I've been around IT teams enough to know that those legacy platforms can get out of date quite quickly. They're not built, they're not future proof built, are they? So you're helping businesses, as much as you possibly can, but like be as future proof as you can. I suppose being in the cloud does allow for, integrations to happen easier, and you don't have to throw away huge capital expenditure, do you? You can be more,
correct.
yeah, yeah. So it's so important. I mean, yeah, I would imagine everybody needs your help, Marlon, in that mid-sized market. Like, especially the data piece. And I can't even imagine. I think of myself as a small agency and just the data that we have. I can't even imagine the mid-sized enterprises and how they handle it. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. So, like every organization I'm a part of, I go into, I look to just streamline processes. I drive efficiency and
right,
just making
right.
the seemingly complex things simple for people to understand. Even from
Yeah.
an IT leader, they'll call me in here to fix a problem, and they don't even understand
Hmm.
the problem. They know
Hmm.
something's not getting done, but they don't know why. So I make go in, kind of dive deep in the weeds and figure out what the problem, what's the hurdle preventing this from
Yeah,
getting accomplished, and I come in and help achieve that.
I love that. So I love this next question. It's an introspection question. So
Okay.
Marlon, like you've been an entrepreneur now, sounds like for 20 years. I'm not sure how long. How long has Century IT been going for?
We're going on just over 4 years now.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So if you were to do this all again, like be the entrepreneur that you are, would you do it all over again?
um, Absolutely, positively, yes. Uh,
Okay.
one of
Yay.
my biggest regrets is I didn't start it sooner. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't dream bigger. I didn't believe in myself that I could do it, like for real, for real. I always had the
Yeah.
side hustle, but I'm just Marlon Grigsby from Dayton, Ohio. I don't know if I belong here, right? And
Yeah.
so I had to put it in perspective for me. Like, listen, if I'm going to bet on somebody, if I'm gonna bet on
Hmm.
anyone, it's gonna be on myself.
Hmm.
And really
Hmm.
that's what I did as an entrepreneur, because as you know, it's not easy like Instagram would have you believe that entrepreneurship is
Yeah.
just this great thing. But it's a lot of hard work. I
Yeah.
work more now than I ever did in corporate America.
Yeah.
But it absolutely is worth the sacrifice. It's worth the long nights. It's worth the
Hmm.
uncertainty that comes
Hmm.
with this. It's worth the sometimes trial by fire. Uh,
Hmm.
yes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a definite yes from Marlon. Woo! Yeah,
yes,
I can. And then there's all that view of like, yeah, but if you'd done it earlier, you wouldn't know what you know now. And there's so many ways to kind of play it in your mind. But I
right,
I do hear that a lot from our guests. They say that like, I wish I'd started it earlier. So I suppose this is a little message for anyone who's feeling like I'm not ready yet. Like, even if you're not ready, you're gonna get yourself ready. It's like start, because you're gonna learn on the job, and
absolutely.
yeah, do it. Just do it. As Gary V says, just do it. So okay, I love it. So I would, and talk to me a little bit about EO. I know you're passionate about EO a lot, and you're getting really involved, and you're being on the board and doing so many things. So what does EO mean to you, Marlon?
Wow, EO. So I've been in EO just over 2 years now, and let me just start off by saying I love EO. I have been a part of several masterminds trying to find a home, trying to find
Mhm.
value. I have paid 5 times more for organizations and masterminds and that provided me far less value. EO has been a game changer for
Mhm.
me, and I've just totally embraced the community. And I truly
Mhm.
believe you're going to get in what or you're going to get out of it what you put in. So I'm putting everything in. I'm trusting EO. I believe in EO. It is my community, my people,
Yeah.
that we all have similar goals but very different journeys, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about it, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Oh my God, you said that so perfectly.
Mhm.
100% agree. Sorry, I'm just as passionate about it as you are, and I think you're right. Well, no, I think you're right. You're right. Whatever you put in it, and you get so much more out than what you put in as well. So, and
Right.
I'm just so glad it's helping you on your journey, and I'm glad you found your people. So that,
Yeah.
I think that is, people talk about loneliness as being an entrepreneur, and it's true. It is lonely, but EO doesn't make it feel lonely, especially when you can
Right.
travel with people and go to places you've never been to before. Like, everything about it is. Anyway, we have a little bit of time left, couple of minutes. I just want to know, Marlon, I know you're a father. I know you're a real, you're a family man. Just talk to me a little bit about, what do you do when you're not doing Sentry IT, when you're not doing EO, when you're not writing books and you're not speaking? What does that look like?
Well, it's an interesting question because being outside of work, sometimes for me, the lines get very blurry.
Mhm.
But if I had to answer, I love traveling and I love experiences. I also like really look forward to creating rememberable experiences for myself, my family, and the people that I'm in relationship with. And actually, you mentioned a point. Like that's another reason why I love EO, is because you have access to countless memorable experiences
Yeah.
locally here in Atlanta and throughout the whole world that we can take advantage of.
Yeah.
So that's another benefit or return on my investment with
Mm.
EO. But outside of work, I love cheering for my Ohio State Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes,
Woo-hoo.
national champions.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, I should have thought about that. Yeah. Yes.
I'm also a mediocre, my mediocre Pittsburgh Steelers. I am a fanatic for them. I'm a diehard
Okay.
Steeler fan.
All
It's
right.
been a long 20 years for us. But I love extracurricular activities. I love being outside. I love getting my
Mhm.
body moving, like
Mhm.
going road biking. I love playing pickleball,
Right.
like boxing, working out,
Mhm.
and just really anything that kind of keeps me moving and really away from my computer screen, to be honest with you, because
Yes.
that's the only way. If I'm doing something active, then I'm not focused on work,
Yes.
right?
No. No, I agree.
I'm also getting into some longevity stuff now.
Hmm.
My goal has always been to feel and look 10 years younger than my biological age. Now, with the advancements of AI and things that are happening in healthcare, heck, I might change my goal to live to 100, 110, and
Yeah.
having more years to really live life
Yeah.
because it's really not too far fetched. I hope to catch
No.
that Benjamin Button and start
I
aging
love that
backwards soon,
movie.
hopefully.
Yes. Yes. Well, someone taught me a couple of years ago to stop thinking in your mind that you're going to live till 80. Stop putting that, and maybe it was an EO event, but actually start saying yourself, if you're going to live to 120. So right now, I'm not even halfway through my life, and it does
Yes,
change your perspective when you look at it like that. So, but
absolutely.
I need to learn more about these ways you're talking about looking 10 years younger, because I'm all about it too. But look, we need to wrap this up. I could spend an hour talking to you. I hope I get the chance to do that at all the future events we're going to be doing together. But Marlon, you've been absolute delight to talk to. Your energy is incredible, and you're passionate about what you do. And I honestly really believe any client you work with, I can imagine you do the best you possibly can. And I think that, again, EO teaches us so many skills, and that mindset comes with it. So,
Yes.
thank you to our listeners. Thank you for joining us today. I hope
Thank
we
you.
inspired you. Yeah. If we made you laugh, that's just an extra added plus. It's Valentine's Day here in Atlanta. So sweet Valentine to everybody, and have a great day.